I'm Krittika, and so I think that reading classics overall is very effective because when you're young, you don't really have the capacity to understand as many things as when you're older, so that kind of rote memorization is good. And also, when you're younger, you're not really preparing for a test or anything like that, so when you're memorizing from a very young age to once you're older, it's the kind of memorization that will stay with you your whole life and not just something that you'll forget after you take a test. So I think that students in a lot of schools are very focused on memorization, especially in Asia, and I think that this can be effective to a point because you're kind of training them to do the same tasks, and that's economically effective. But sometimes that shouldn't be the goal. I think it should be more about creativity and actually understanding. But I think classics still can play a role in that because once you're old enough to know the meaning, then that kind of higher level thinking is not something that you would even learn in school because it's actually what the philosophers have written, and you're actually reading it in its original form without being translated.
Were you happy from the beginning reading the classics, or you have the transition time from?
I think I was happy in the beginning, but then as it went on, I think I got kind of repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
But when I feel like it's getting repetitive, I just I focus on every word, and I'm like,
mm-hmm.
oh, I'm speaking Chinese,
mm-hmm.
just realizing that you're actually speaking a different language, and if you think about that, you're reading something that has been written centuries ago, and
mm-hmm.
it's so profound that it won't seem repetitive.
Okay. You told me that you are tutoring a young student. Yeah. What age?
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade. Okay. What kind of method are you using right now?
So right now I'm using I'm reading for about 15 minutes,
mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the time is just regular learning, like just learning vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to do all reading because I didn't want to just dive into that at
mm-hmm.
first. And so this kid has ADHD, so he's kind of... So I find that he's actually a lot more focused when he does the reading than
mm-hmm.
when he's doing the vocabulary. So I think that's a good way to teach.
Actually, I think you touched the area that some people are looking into the therapy by using, because especially like autistic student, and they can use this because they like to focus on the things.
Yeah.
Reading can help them to stay focused and absorb the much information. So this kid has the ADHD?
I think actually
ADD?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this?
Only a few weeks, like maybe 5 weeks.
A few weeks.
Yeah.
And
we took a break for a while.
I see. Does the kid like the way how you approach him?
He does like he likes reading,
mm-hmm.
and I told him, like, he wants to know the meaning, but
mm-hmm.
I told him I don't really know the meaning. But yeah, so I just said that once he keeps reading, he'll understand the meaning, and
mm-hmm.
once I told him that, then he was happy to read. And but I think that he gets bored very easily with the
mm-hmm.
regular form of study because
mm-hmm.
this is just writing and reading over.
Well, are you teaching him read the 论语 or the
论语?
Oh, so each time when you guys meet, you do the 10 minutes reading.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. I hope you can, move on and during the summertime do more tutoring. Yeah. All right. Can you tell a little bit about your personal gains through this activity and compare the two methods so far we've been used in the Chinese class?
So after reciting, I kind of have more of an idea of the rhythm of the language, mm-hmm. and I think that caused me to pay more attention to tones and pronunciation. And with regular learning, I think I could obviously memorize characters mm-hmm. more, I think, because when I'm reading, I feel like I'm just kind of, once I memorize it, I feel like I'm just reciting it and not really reading it. Mm-hmm. So so word recognition was, I have to actually focus on recognizing the words if I want that to improve, but just from reading, pronunciation and fluency definitely.
Have you tried to copy the text on paper?
Yeah, I did once. I mean, I got some of them, but a lot of them I'm just writing down words that sound similar because I can't just visualize it in my head.
I see. I have noticed you and other students also switched from simplified Chinese character textbook to the traditional ones. Since you're saying you don't want to just read from your memory and you want to engage with individual characters, is that the reason why you read from the traditional characters?
Yeah, and because then you have to focus more on the characters because you can't lose your place and just keep going because you need to know where you're, and also because it's in vertical, you have to actually kind of have your place
without punctuation.
Yeah. And also it's.
Do you feel comfortable now read vertically with Asian script?
Yeah, I think
you're pretty comfortable.
Pretty comfortable, yeah.
That's very good. Any final thoughts you want to share with the parents, teachers who are interested in using this method, Dujing method, in teaching languages?
Yeah, I think that don't be wary of it if your child is younger. I think especially start if the kid is younger, but I think it's a really good way to learn languages without really, it feels more real than using a textbook, and it's something that can be taught at a very young age. You don't have to wait until they're older. And I think that if it's coupled with Chinese classes like textbook learning, then it could be really effective.
Okay. Yeah, early you mentioned about the creativity, right? At what age do you think we should encourage students dig into the meaning?
Well, if they've started, how young would they have started?
Well, currently in our class, we all start late, like after 14 years. And you start to get to know the classic Chinese. So at the same time, of course, you're always wondering what's the meaning behind it. And doing this rote memorization sometimes make you kind of frustrated because you really don't know what does it mean, especially this is a foreign language. I guess my question is, when we start early, everything will be put into place much easier to plan out. But when we always will have students start later age. What's your personal perspective on calm down, do the memorization first, even before getting to meaning, or use more leaning towards memorize at the same time while you're memorizing the text, and you also look it up the meaning. What's your approach?
I think memorizing first is a lot better because if you just look up the meaning, then it's just kind of the same as if you were reading an English translation. Because I think part of it is that to read it in its original form and actually be able to understand from your own knowledge. So I think you should wait until you know enough Chinese and try to figure out the meaning. But I think if like you're doing, just give us some sentences, the meaning of a few phrases, then it makes sense because then it kind of keeps the interest.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.